Streaming. And I just got the notification on my phone, so that means we should be streaming.
Oh yeah, I just got the notification on my tablet. So
yeah, this one's a little delayed because I could go onto our page and see the live stream happening, but it's definitely there's like a lag of maybe like 10 or so seconds.
Yeah, just a little bit. But hey, we're live now. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, what up, jerk faces? Live streaming. This is a test. This is only a test.
CircleofJerks fans, Andy and I are here experimenting through live streaming, through Skype interviews. We got big things planned for the podcast. People that we want to talk to who don't live in California like we do. And this is a way for us to get different ideas, different voices out there for you guys to hear and listen to on a variety of subjects, gaming, life, what have pretty much anything. And hopefully down the road, as we get bigger, we'll do more of these live streams. Maybe we'll do some like gaming on there. We'll do some jiu-jitsu training stuff with James. We got a lot of ideas on the docket. A lot of things that we're wanting to experiment with and try, and put out our joys and stuff on the internet for you guys to gain some joy from the joys that we have.
Exactly. So stay tuned. Keep your pants on.
And we also have, stay tuned, we have clips from episode 3 coming out this week. The full episode will be up probably within the next week or so. And episode 4 was also filmed essentially at the same time. So that's going to be out here within the next week or so too. It's on the editing bay. And
I'm only one man, all right? I'm only one man.
Yeah. It's a one-man band.
So much.
Hurry up, Andy! Come on. Do I need to go over and crack the whip?
Hey, don't be bringing your colonial patriarchy over to me.
I know, right? It's like freaking white guy.
I know, damn. Keep your white privilege to yourself.
Exactly. Also, we have episodes 5 and 6 in. We're going to be filming those here pretty soon as well. Got some fun stuff. It's going to be a little bit more lighthearted than our last episodes 3 and 4 will be. Those are a little bit more heavy, deeper thinking. Kind of have we have some laughs, but it's also some serious business as well to give encouragement and those who need help, kind of give them hopefully some encouragement to seek out the help they need. But this one's going to be a little bit more fun and friendly and kind of laugh out loud. Kind of the dumb stuff that we go on the internet to look at anyways.
Are you watching the stream right now?
No, I'm not. I have my TV on. That's why I kind of have the glow on me. But no, I'm not.
No,
I'm not watching.
Yeah, because I was just checking, and then there's it says one person's watching. And now
it's not.
Okay, so it's not you. So it's one of our many followers. So, and we thank you. We thank you for watching this stupid test.
We have the chat up. You have the chat up?
Yeah, we do. There is a chat section, so mystery viewer, send us a comment.
If you have a question for us, or if you are one of the Circle of Jerks members that's on watching it, then
right. Where my jerk faces at?
Yeah, it'd probably be like James or like Dancing Jason.
Maybe. Oh man.
But if it's not, hey, that'd be great if it's somebody new.
Random, that'd be awesome. Yeah, let us know how we're doing. I mean, yeah, this is just a test. We're just figuring things out.
Yeah. If you haven't seen our episodes, they're uploaded. We have episodes 1 and 2. If you're not, 2 has a lot of baseball heavy content. If you don't like that, we've had movie discussions, or if you want to know who we are, a little bit about who we are. Episode 1, we kind of all introduce one another, share our interests, and we got a lot more like fun content upcoming. We're still pretty brand new at this. Each episode is getting better. Like, we're starting to figure out what we want from the series. We're learning how. Andy's learned something new every time we've gone to the editing bay, and figuring out like camera and sound, and figuring out what kind of content and like how we want to.
It's been a very quick and rapid evolution. From the first time we filmed and uploaded. Just a very fast evolution. We as soon as we finish one episode, it's like, oh shoot, we need this, or we're lacking this. We're lacking a good mic, so we went and got a good mic, and then got this software so that we could upload, start doing streams and doing Skype interviews. And so
so if you don't like our content so far, stay tuned. We're gonna have some content that you guys are gonna love, and at least I think you'll love, because I know I'm gonna enjoy it. And sometimes it's nerdy stuff. Like, we'll talk about movies, we'll talk about TV shows, we'll talk about games. We'll make fun of commercials, what have you. We'll also have some like fun, like more serious topics. Like we had the interview with Andy, who, as you see, is a little bit different from the rest of us.
Yeah, just a little bit. I'm just a little bit.
Just a little bit different.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. So we had an interview with him and how he's dealt with that in his life. We talked about suicide prevention, which is kind of a episode that's not yet up yet, but we kind of talked to kind of a serious topic there. And we have like stuff that we'll have in the works for, I know James wants to talk about jiu-jitsu and training, and probably has some like medical stuff that he, as far as like what he's dealt with at the clinics that he's worked at. Dancing Jason's going to want to talk about his hats, and he's found a new love in NASCAR. So him and I are definitely going to have some conversations about that.
That is so weird because all of a sudden, because if you've watched episode 1, you know that our buddy Dancing Jason, he's really into hats, and then one day he just shows up with a NASCAR hat, and I'm just like, what is going on?
I don't know. There was a race a few weeks ago at Bristol Motor Speedway that got rain delayed till Monday, and I guess he found a way to, like, he's like, you know what, hey, let's check this out, let's watch it, and he texted me like as soon as it was over, and he's like, oh my god, this is so awesome. I was like, are you like messing with me? Like, are you like?
If you don't know, Dancing Jason's kind of a troll. Sometimes he means to be a troll, and sometimes he doesn't mean to be a troll. But it's like, you just don't know with him, and so I can totally understand Robert's confusion about that.
But no, he legitimately loved the race, and he's like, dude, tell me more about like the sport, like. And so I started sharing some famous race clips of famous finishes, and stuff throughout NASCAR history, at least from like the 90s and stuff. And he's like, this is awesome, like. And he's been watching the last few weeks, and he says, I never thought that I would be a NASCAR fan, but this I get it now, like why I'm into it. And I think I'm like one of the few people that of like my age group anywhere that likes the sport. I've been watching it since I was 3 years old, so 89. I've been watching it since 1989.
Damn.
And a lot of like my, a lot of my childhood and adult years have been spent watching NASCAR, enjoying it. I've been to probably about a dozen races, and I don't know. I love the history behind the sport. I like the strategy behind the sport. Just the some people are like, oh, it's just driving left, and like you don't
I know, right?
have to.
That's like that's kind of the
But
argument.
like
It's like,
you don't
oh,
have to
you're
be
just
in good
watching these
shape,
guys
and
make left turns for 3 hours.
but it's a lot more than that. There's a lot of physical conditioning. There's a lot that happens to the body inside those race cars that people don't realize. That you're in it's about 130 degrees in the cockpit of the car, and that's just in like kind of like where like your head and body are at, like the floor, like more towards like the floorboards, towards the pedals. It's getting closer into like the 180, 190 degree range, which is they wear like special like heat shields like on their feet to help prevent them from burning up. But even then, like they still get kind of the hot feet, and it's hot, and especially like the last few races, it's been really really hot. So that's played a factor, and you're losing about 10 pounds of water weight every race. So it's easy to fatigue easily, and the G forces and just the all those factors that pull on a driver are kind of a fatiguing factor. I've done like a little bit of I've done like go-karting and stuff, not just at like the local like MB2s or K1s, kind of like where it's it's fast, but it's not like really all that fast. Like I've been in actual like professional go-karts before, and you race that for like 30 laps, and that's after you don't realize it does, like, oh man, like the next day like my shoulders are all like kind of sore because I'm not used to the G forces, and to do that for at a much driving a really heavy, the cars are probably about, I don't know, like 2,000 to 3,000. I think it's like 3,500 pounds.
Yeah.
And to race that for 500 miles that's taking a toll. Your arms and your body get really tired, and there's a lot of pull on your neck and your head, and so there's a lot of that. And each track, it has its own like unique characteristics. Some are really high banks, some are like flatter, some are like really long and fast, some are short and fast. And so just the different, week to week, the setups are different, and what they have to deal with. So that's why I enjoy the sport. And the other thing, kind of with wrestling is like hate is great. A lot of the rivalries and just some of the comments that you get from drivers, in the heat of the moment about other drivers is always just hilarious to me.
Yeah, well, I mean, what was it? Rivalries just make everything better in sports, and because like what would the Lakers be without the Celtics, and vice versa, or
Dodgers, Giants, Yankees, Red Sox. There's always those like great rivalries that like make it fun, because there's times where it's like it's a friendly rivalry, like things are you're working hard, you're both teams are both good, or sometimes they're both bad, and like they want to beat each other, and so that makes it fun. And then there's times where the teams fucking hate each other, and they don't want to like they just want to you end up like you can just feel the tension between the teams, and it's like, oh, something's gonna blow over here, and sometimes it does. The other thing that I think is also really unique about NASCAR is just the access that you have to the drivers. Not only at like the broadcasting level, they're interviewing like right before the race starts, or sometimes. Heck, they have a caution. Sometimes, the broadcast booth is coming in and interviewing drivers like during a caution period. Saying like, "Hey, how's your car doing?" Which is, you don't get that in like football or baseball or any of the other sports like that. I also like that it's the only sport that I know of that they still pray before the race, which I think is, as a Christian, I think that's pretty awesome. Whether you're a Christian or not, I think it's kind of it's a unique thing that happens, and especially when you're putting your life on the line every race that you're in.
There's a.
They pray before the.
They pray. Okay. Yeah. No. Yeah. Seriously. I mean.
So
you kind of see that in a lot of like you'll see it in like movies where like right before like in like remember the Titans, they had a prayer circle and
but that's not like no, this is like a sport wide thing. It's not just like a team thing. This like they actually have like like a pastor or somebody like come up before they do like the Star Spangled Banner, and they actually like have like a out loud prayer that they have before the race starts, which is kind of I think is unique. But yeah, I think it also plays part in where NASCAR. It's a very family friendly, like it's a family sport in a lot of ways because you have a lot of like brothers who've raced together, fathers, the dads have been NASCAR drivers, and so like the sons end up becoming NASCAR drivers.
Like, wasn't him and his dad were like contemporaries. They raced together, right?
Yeah, it was for a short period of time, unfortunately, because of Earnhardt's death. But yeah, they raced together. Earnhardt Jr.'s grandfather raced in NASCAR for a short time.
Oh, really?
Then
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So it was like 3 generations.
Yeah, he's a 3rd generation driver. And there was a time, unfortunately, before his untimely death, Adam Petty, he was a 4th generation driver. He was part of the Petty legacy, and unfortunately, I think had he not passed away when he did, he was going to help revive Petty Enterprises back to its glory days from like when Richard Petty was driving. But unfortunately, we didn't get to see that happen. That's. But yeah, it's a very like family oriented sport. Like a lot of times the drivers bring their families with them on the road. And it's sometimes like the fathers and sons who've been racers, like they race together, or so I think that's kind of something that's fun and unique about NASCAR. It's not it's not, especially nowadays, it's not just some like southern dumb hick sport. It's becoming a lot more. I guess corporate might not be the right word, but it's becoming more like kind of like
it's
mainstream.
More mainstream, more.
And the fan bases are becoming a lot more diverse as well. Heck, I remember it going up to Sonoma Raceway a number of years ago, and there was a huge like Asian fan base that was up there. A lot of Japanese and Korean fans that were there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was really surprised. It wasn't just like 2 or 3 guys. It was a lot because we had like pit passes and stuff, and there was a huge contingent of Asian fans. It
was a sizable group.
Yeah, there's a lot of black fans out there, and so it wasn't just the good old white boys out there enjoying NASCAR. It's kind which is great. I love that there's we're getting a more unique fan base out there that's enjoying the sport, and even like as far as drivers go, we're starting to get more diversity there too, because there's a lot. This is one of the few sports where it's not about the getting into the sport is really difficult. Like you have not only do you, it's not enough to have the talent, because there's guys that have talent and there's guys that don't really have it, and even if you get put with like a good team, that doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to succeed. There's a lot of factors like having sponsorship is really important, having the talent, and then being and getting in the right situation, because sometimes guys that are the team might not necessarily be super talented or have all the resources, but they have a really good driver who pushes them past their limits, and they overachieve. And then you have guys that are on top tier teams who just are not good, and they end up the team, they have all the resources, they just don't have the the talent. And so it's one of those unique sports. Like I think a lot like baseball, where it's not like stuff isn't just like handed to you. Like you don't get drafted and like you're right in. Like it's a really long and arduous like process where you have to prove yourself constantly. And it's like it's a lot of like past achievements, kind of like well that's great, you did that back then. What are you doing now? And so that's a unique thing about NASCAR. But as far as the diverse driver pool, like one of the top guys in the sport right now, Kyle Larson, he's a Hapo. He's half Japanese, half white. We got another, I think, a really good up-and-coming driver in the Xfinity Series, which is the kind of like the AAA of NASCAR. Bubba Wallace, he's a black guy, and he's has a heck of a lot of talent. He's going to be a top-tier star here, I think, pretty soon. And we also have in the Truck Series a guy by the name of Riku Aprue, and he's a little guy. He's a little person. He's a dwarf, and he's kicking everyone's butt. Let me tell you, he's really talented. He was he's worked up through like the ranks of like doing a lot of like dirt racing and sprint cars and like midget cars. And not midget because like because he's a small person. Like that's actually the series. They're called midget cars. Kicking everyone's butt. Let me tell you. Really, you can look it up online. He was, So I mean, he's dirt racing and sprint cars and like legit cars. I don't think I'm not midget because with a name like Aprue because he's a small person. Like, that's actually the series. However it's pronounced. Oh, and another one of the top guys that just took over a Cup Series ride when Carl Edwards retired was Daniel Suarez. He's from Mexico. And he was a top driver in Mexico's NASCAR series, won some championships there, and as a teenager, and now he's up in the Cup Series as like a 19 or 20-year-old, and has some ups and downs, but he's definitely got the talent. He's really talented driver. So it's not just the southern like white guys that are in the sport anymore. I mean, and you always have Danica, who brings in like the girl fan base too, which is great. And she, say what you will about it, she has talent. It's just, and she has the team around her, but it's it's tough. Like she doesn't quite have. I don't think she has everything that she needs, and I don't think she has all the talent that she needs. Like I think she needs there needs to be some overachieving in some cases, either from the team or for her. But she hasn't quite had the success everyone thought she would.
This was wait, did you say who is this again?
Oh, that was Danica Patrick.
Right. Yeah, I was like, because I was pretty sure you were talking about Danica Patrick, but then I didn't quite hear the name, and so I thought there was like some like new like girl in NASCAR.
I think we are.
Some of the things you were saying that it started to make more sense that it would be Danica Patrick.
Yeah, and I like Danica. I think her, if she succeeds in the Cup Series, like wins races, that can only help the sport.
Right.
I think we don't like that. It's like, we're tired of Jimmy Johnson winning. We're tired, and people got tired of Earnhart winning and stuff like that. I like Danica. Those guys winning in the sport, I think, is good for the sport. Like when guys like Dale Jr. and Jeff, when Jeff Gordon was on, or when those guys don't do well, it's kind of like, what happened? Like, and you get like new faces up in victory lane, but it's good for the sport when like the popular guys are winning races, or even sometimes when the not so popular guys, like the guys that everyone hates, that hate is great thing. Like, oh God, I don't like Kyle Busch, I don't like Joey Logano, I don't like these guys. But like you still watch because it's like you want to see if your driver can win, or it's like you want to like yell and boo at the guy that you don't like that's winning. Kyle Busch. Earnhardt was being, being an Earnhardt fan sometimes wasn't always the easiest in the early '90s because he was winning so dang much. People were, and he was a rough driver, so a lot of people didn't like his you want to yell and boo at the guy that you don't like that's winning. And even the guys that I don't. I mean, they're good. They're good guys. They're all pretty good guys. But drivers that I don't like. You can't deny their talent. Like guys like Kyle Busch and Brad Keselowski, Joey Logano. There's a reason those guys are winning on a pretty consistent basis. Is they're really good.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Kind of want. Well, let me talk for just a quick sec because I want to check if my audio is being picked up. Because I know you can hear me, but I'm not sure if it's being picked up with a live stream.
Yeah.
So.
God, I certainly hope so.
Yeah. Hold on. Okay. Just a quick sec because I want to check if
we have to do the silent movie organ or something like that, and have the little black screen with the text of something.
Yeah. No, I just did a check, and my audio is coming in nice.
Oh, good. That's good.
So.
That's a relief. I'm glad it's working. I know.
Yeah, me too. I'm super excited now that we got this figured out, and so then we could have guests from across the country, and we could either do a pre-tape or we can do a live stream, and so yeah.
Yeah, because there's a few people I'd like to that I know that are out of state that I'd love to interview about. Have on the podcast to talk about some stuff. Like one of my friends that I was in the Navy with, he went over to Afghanistan and stuff, and didn't quite come back right in the head initially, and deals with a lot of PTSD. And I'd love to have him on and have him talk about how he's kind of overcome a lot of that.
Yeah, that would be cool.
And he's a really charming guy too. He's funny. He has a lot of. We might have to go a little bit more. Let him go a little bit more unfiltered. I know we try to censor ourselves quite a bit, but we might have to let him go and just kind of let him be him on this one.
Yeah, I mean, if it happens to slip out, then it slips out. But I mean. If we don't necessarily do a live stream, then if we just do the recording, then I always go back. I always go back and do the censorship bleeps and whatever.
True. Yeah. And I'll let him know to maybe to curb his some of his unique tales.
Right, family programming.
Yeah,
because I actually.
We want to be friendly for everyone, Yeah,
because I told my pastor's wife about the podcast, and so I don't want her to come I think I'll check out Andy's podcast, and then it's nothing but F-bombs.
Right. So if we ever do have something that's a little bit more risque, we'll do a little bit of a notation at the beginning of the episodes, it'll be a little bit more
defensive language, potentially, yeah.
Any sort of gaming live streams, I'm gonna have to throw that up there because sometimes in the heat of the moment, it just sometimes you have to tell a game to go.
Some kid in what is it? Some kid in Omaha, Nebraska, comes and snipes you in the head, and you just can't control yourself, and you gotta call him a snot-nosed little bastard, but a little bit more mean.
Even when honestly, even when I'm playing games by myself, a tough game, there's sometimes where I just have to tell the game to go F itself. It's it's in the heat of the moment. It's what? How else am I supposed to deal with this situation?
But I mean, but sometimes
that was a good old matchup.
But sometimes cussing is so satisfying,
Yeah, what was it? I watched a lot of the Cinemassacre gaming live streams, and Mike Matei, who does a lot of them, he had this moment where it's like, I think it was like playing like Mega Man or some other like tough game. It's like, how else am I supposed to deal with this situation? How am I supposed to not curse in this moment? It's like sometimes you just have to, you know, drop an F-bomb like in some situations.
Yeah, I mean, because sometimes
was it like the F word is like the best word ever sometimes.
Yeah, no, exactly. Because and if you
that's
hold,
if you hold back, that's my favorite thing.
If you hold yourself back, it's the equivalent to holding in a sneeze, you know. Because usually when you let out a sneeze, you know, in all its like disgusting glory, then you know you feel like it feels so good, but
you'll blow
when you hold back, when you start holding back, is when you hold it back, it just like it like totally messes up your sinuses, or and it just like it just like makes kind of makes you, puts you in a daze for a little bit, and it's like that doesn't feel good.
Exactly. Yeah, because I know. Yeah, it's you blow out your eye sockets or something. It's just. Or you get the was it that like Homer Simpson syndrome, like where he gets like those like boils on like his neck because he
he's
holding
like weird, because he holds it in, like it sends like the pressure into like his neck, and it's like all of a sudden he looks like a frog or.
Yeah, it was. So yeah, but I'm looking forward to like us being able to do that like in the future. Like we either doing like with a couple of us like playing like Jason and I playing like Street Fighter or something together, or me doing, or like me doing something like a Mario live stream, or some of the games that like I really enjoy, and
or Smash Brothers. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, I don't have I don't have Smash Brothers right now.
Oh, you don't?
Oh yeah, that would be. No, that's actually a game I don't have. Shockingly enough.
That's weird.
I've played Smash a bunch of times, and if I get it for the Wii U, I need to buy the Pro controller. So.
What's the difference between a Pro controller and a regular controller?
Well, the regular controller that comes with the Wii U is that gamepad, but the Pro controller is just a like a controller that it's a Wii U controller. It's just like, but it's not like the gamepad interface, because some of the games utilize that gamepad a lot, especially the Zelda games. And what's kind of cool and unique about it, which a function that I like, is that if someone wants to like watch like TV, or like they're playing another game, I can keep playing on the Wii U using the gamepad, because it's all on the screen on the gamepad.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of unique in a sense. But yeah, the Pro controllers are just controllers, and like for a game like Smash, that's what we would have to get, and then I'd also have to buy the game because I don't have it. Because of the fighting games I've had. I mean, I'm a big Street Fighter guy. I love Street Fighter, especially Street Fighter 2,
mm-hmm.
which I still play all the time on my PS3.
That's the classic. I still remember, heading down to the local 7-Eleven or donut shop. And, just like
what happened to that? Like they don't. None of those guys have arcades.
Putting my quarter down and just waiting my turn, and and there's there's kind of it's almost like actually being at a street fight, because then like there's two guys and you're like, oh wow, look at what he just did a Hadouken combo with the with the
just like
kick, and it's like
so kind of like we all just played and kind of figured out that game. I remember walking to school in the morning with my mom, and we would go to a donut shop by my elementary school, and they had the Street Fighter 2 arcade there.
Mm-hmm.
I think I played that every morning. And at the time I got really, really, really good at it. And I still know some of the like combos and like stuff to do, but my fighting game skills have like really taken a dive.
Right.
The other one I also really enjoyed was like Marvel vs. Capcom.
Oh yeah, that game was super fun.
I have that one too on my PS3 as well. So we'll have to do.
Oh man, that
we'll
game
have
was
to play
super
that.
fun. Yeah, my team was like Wolverine, Ryu, and Mega Man.
Yeah, I was always a Spider-Man, Captain America, and what else did I use a lot? Wolverine was kind of combo.
Tornado
Although
Claw.
like I've been experimenting with like some different combinations. Like I've been using some of the more of the Street Fighter characters, like Akuma.
Right, because you have to find like that, that good balance where you have like the big bruiser, and then you have someone like really fast and agile, and then.
Yeah, I remember like in the very first one, which I thought I used to have. I can't find it, so I might have to repurchase the first one if I can find it. But like there it was like you had, I think it was like one or two characters, but then it was one character, but then you had like support guys that you would call in, and it was always fun to call in like Juggernaut and some others in there, because my friend was like the worst at that. He would always we'd have like a lot of these epic long battles in the first one. But I play like number 2 is the one I played in the arcade a lot. But there's like been a lot of like cool games that I've been playing recently. Like I've been Daniel and I, we've both been playing MLB 17 The Show. He doesn't have a PS4, so we went halvesies on the game, and he comes over a lot, and we've been playing that a lot online. That's got a really cool, fun online mode, which I normally hate on a game. What else have I been playing? Zelda Breath of the Wild, that came out. I need to get back into that. I haven't played that too much recently. And then like Super Mario Maker, that's been pretty fun. And my friend Peter, as a late birthday gift, got me a copy of the remastered Skyrim for that. So I've been getting back into that, which is just an epically long and arduous game. It's tough at times, but it has its charm. I like Skyrim. But some of those Bethesda games, man, like you have to really be in it for the long haul. Those are long games. But it's kind of fun, like it's magic and sword fighting and sneaking around, so it's fun like that. But you guys see like you haven't seen my whole game collection, but it's pretty substantial. And some good like one-player games like we can do like live streams on. Like I know like some of like the Mario. I'd love to do like something with like some of the Mario stuff that I enjoy, or like a Zelda and whatnot. I think that'd be fun. And
we can do so many. We can do a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Man, just like man, I had this realization that today that it's like we're living in the future right now. I mean, if you think about it, because
this
growing up, we didn't have any of this stuff. And now like anyone can go and be like do their own show, and it like the quality will I mean it won't be like Hollywood or television studio level production, but it's pretty damn good. And
I think the cool thing about it is I think a lot of people are kind of tired of just like the broadcast television and kind of and a lot of, I mean, not that like people are like stopping watching it and stuff like that. I mean, there's still like I think right now there's honestly like a lot of great shows that are on TV right now.
Right. Yeah.
I think we're definitely in the best television age as far as like
in terms of story and writing. I think right now it's like this is like the
even better than
renaissance for TV. I think.
Yeah. In a lot of ways. I mean, there's definitely a lot of garbage out there, but there's a lot of good as well. But at the same time, I think people are, wanting something more something more real, something. I think there's a lot of people have unique, fun stories, or they come at I've been watching a ton of like gaming stuff on like YouTube and all that, and it's fun like seeing people's different stuff that they like. People coming at it from different perspectives. I'd love to do something with like RPGs, talking about like Final Fantasy, Dragon Quest, doing some like more like gaming guides and stuff like that. And I think that would be a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like I think people are wanting that type of stuff, and we can. I think it'd be a lot of fun. We're definitely. I never thought like any of this would exist when I was growing up in high school. I mean, heck, like we grew up with like when we did have internet, it was that crappy 56K.
Yeah, 56K dial-up. Yeah, and it took 5 days to download a song.
Yeah, exactly, and they wonder like why like a lot of my like students that I have nowadays are like, why are you listening to this song so much? It's like, well, how like back in the day, like we had to like the songs had to be good because we had to.
I know, right? Because that was like precious time, and also it took what is it? It gummed up the phone line, and so like no one could call you. Or, if you had, like, that one internet where if someone did call you, then you get kicked off, like, right as it was finished,
It's like 98%. It's like, no, I needed that song.
I know, right? It was like, down, like, 98%, and then, like, your grandma calls, like, Grandma!
Yeah, you're cursing your grandma because your song didn't
finish downloading. Because you wanted the new Tupac album, but, freaking grandma had to call, ask me about ask me about if I was coming over on Sunday for Sunday dinner.
Yeah, well, hell, even like when they had like even before that time, like when you had like 8-tracks and stuff like that, the songs had to be good or like even records, you couldn't like rewind that stuff, like, so the album had to be good. It couldn't just be like one good song. It had to be the whole album that was good. Whereas nowadays, it doesn't matter. Like you can kind of, as long as like one or two are like catchy enough, and like you'll do okay, right. I guess.
Yeah, because I'd always just initially download the album, and then if I had to like more than half the songs on there to actually go out and buy the album. But I mean, nowadays, I guess you just pay what is it, like through iTunes, like 99 cents a track.
Yeah, like you obviously you save more money usually by buying the album itself. But if like I've listened to all this album and I hate like 4 of the songs on there, it's like, what, it's probably cheaper for me to just buy the individual songs themselves.
Right. Right, but I mean, unless I like really like the artist and I want to support them, then yeah, I'll go out and like buy the entire album regardless, because I really enjoy their stuff, and I want them to do well, and so I will support them, and because I enjoy their art.
Yeah, and then there's also other times where certain albums, like they're almost like the rock operas, where the album itself tells like a story through like all the songs, and I mean, each there's individual songs that are good, mm-hmm. but to really enjoy like the songs as a whole, like you have to listen to the whole album. I think that's why I love like Frank Zappa so much, because a lot of his albums
his work is very story. Almost, I dare say, epic, and just like the story that it that the album tells.
Yeah. Well, I would say Joe's Garage is probably one of the most famous ones of his that he did like that, where mm-hmm. It's telling telling a story within those songs. I mean, it's ridiculous and silly, but mm-hmm. at the same time it's fun, and like the songs are some borderline genius, and mm-hmm. But some of them are like really silly. Some of them are like, wow, that's pretty thought-provoking, and and then there's other words that like, I think there's a couple of instrumentals that are on there where it's just, God, that's some damn good guitaring. Like I think it was like it's something in, Watermelons and Easter Hay is an instrumental track, but goddamn, it's so good. I like just sitting and like that's I kind of like having that on in the background. It's just a good good kind of thought-provoking song. Yeah, despite no words being spoken. And I think there was also like one where he actually did like a film based off of like an album he did, which is like called 200 Motels, and he essentially wrote the whole thing while he was on the road touring, and that was kind of it's also kind of just silly and funny, but like also genius. It's and unique. You're not gonna get something like that today. Like there's no artist like that today, to be honest.
True.
Heck, there was no artist like that back then.
Yeah, he was so first, and and I don't know. I think a lot of people are afraid to try and follow the footsteps.
Yeah, that's well, no one. It's hard to. Because I understand, like you get in the business because you want to make money in it. Like I get it. So sometimes there's compromises that need to be made, and there's certain people that are like, you're not going to make money off of this. Like, so I almost wonder if there's guys that get into it and it's like, okay, let's do what we need to do to make money now, and then maybe like as we gain a following, we get big, we can start doing some of our own projects. But at that point, like I think you're too lost, and like some people, you almost like lose that talent that you do have. And there's also like there's some artists like they're really good writers too, and end up maybe like they don't quite have the best voice or guitar skills, but they end up becoming like really good like music writers, or vice versa. There's some people that can't write a lick, but they have a good voice. So, they're not really doing their own stuff, but like they can play other people's stuff to perfection. It's hard to have like where you can do everything. Those talents of we write our own stuff, we play our own stuff, and like we made ourselves. Those people don't come around very often anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there was the same problem. We think of like it's the same problem back in like the 60s and 70s and 80s. Like there was always that like those groups too where people they weren't doing their own stuff. I mean, it's guys like that's why like the bands that stick around the longest and like why people still listen to their music like the Beatles and Zappa is definitely, I think, after his death has gained quite a following. A lot of his sons Zappa plays Zappa concerts. I mean, are booked to the rafters. I mean, every venue I've been to has been sold out. But you look at guys like like the Doors and Metallica and even like I'm not a huge fan of Led Zeppelin, but like everyone still loves like Led Zeppelin. They still listen to their music, Aerosmith, Rolling Stones, all those guys. There's a reason like the music is still popular. Because those guys are unique and they're they did all their own stuff for the most part.
For the most part. I mean, yeah, the earlier stuff, yeah, but like the ones like from like the late '90s, early 2000s, they might have had some help.
Well, as you get older too, it's like what, like it's just I don't want to go through that grind, and so it's like, hey, you know what, you take over this part, and like we'll play, and that's usually why like sometimes like the the kind of the running gag in a lot of places like. There's a great Simpsons clip where they're at a thing and Bachman Turner Overdrive is doing it like, all right, we're gonna play some stuff from we're gonna play our old greats, but we're gonna play some stuff from our new album. And Homer yells like, no new crap, taking care of business. It's like,
yeah, because if you say you went to a Rolling Stones concert. you don't want that, and they're like, oh, we're gonna,
I don't care about their new album. I want
to share with you.
yeah.
Like, no, shut up and play. What is it? What's that one famous song that? But like all their hits.
Yeah, like you don't want to hear you don't want to hear their new crap. Like you want to hear their old. Honestly, and if you think about it, that's the only profession where no one wants to hear people's new stuff. They want the old. They want you can play your old stuff over and over again, and you will sell stadiums out. Mm-hmm. when you're that type of band. You can't do that in comedy. You can't do that in any other profession.
Right, exactly. Because for comedians, I already heard that. What else you got?
Well, and that's why you got people like Amy Schumer are pittering out because they haven't changed their material and their entire in their career. The only one that can do their old stuff and get away with it and he freaking kills is Andrew Dice Clay. Oh, they don't want his new stuff. They want to hear his nursery rhymes. And the thing is, they're finishing the punchlines for him. Right. And he's
because it's because he sets it up. And it's chorus, and then the entire audience joins in with them to give the punchline.
And it's funny to him. I when I first listened to him, I thought he was hilarious, and I was like, I don't know. I started to not like him, and then I think when he was he was on the Joe Rogan podcast, and he was doing some other interviews and kind of just talking. I was like, what, this guy is really interesting. And I started I understood his comedy a lot more, and I think I started to like him again. He's very unique as far as comedians go.
Yeah. Finally figured out how to get rid of that little my timing, my video feed in the video. Jeez, that took forever.
Well, I don't see you, but I just see myself.
Oh, what?
Is that
oh shit!
I did. Yeah. But the important thing is it showing up both of us on screen. That's really the most important part.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
So that's fine. I don't necessarily need to see you unless you're trying to show me something.
Right. Okay. There I am. Yeah, I guess I just took it for granted. But yeah, because I could still see you, and I was like, oh, I did it. But you're like.
Well, and that's the most important part. I don't unless you're trying to show me a piece of paper that has something on it or whatever to someone that we're interviewing. Mm-hmm. Then I don't mind. It's I'll just pretend I'm talking to the mirror, even though I'm I'm actually talking to somebody.
Yeah, because that's not crazy at all.
Yeah, I mean, hell, I talk to myself all the time in the car, so why not?
Oh man, this is crazy. Yeah, so the future, we're I say, I dare say that we're I think we're just maybe just the toe part in the water. If Jetsons, Jetsons cartoon, that is the pinnacle of what the future is supposed to be, the ocean.
Where's my
our toes are just in the water, we're just we're just dipping our toes in. That's how far we've gotten, but still it's pretty damn amazing.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I'm really excited for the possibilities for our podcast. It's and for a while obviously we're doing it because we really want to do it, and I definitely hope that we're doing stuff that people like. Mm-hmm. People are wanting to watch us, and I think we all have unique viewpoints. Mm-hmm. We all like different we do have some overlapping interests, but we all have different interests, and I think there's something for everyone to enjoy. So I think that's something unique about it.
Yeah, because like in episode 3, I swear it's gonna come out, guys. But yeah, because we were talking about 13 Reasons, and the whole that I think because I was just I recently was editing it, so I had to keep watching it. But that scene with sorry, spoilers. That scene with the counselor and Hannah, and it's like I think we all generally had this felt the same way about it, but we definitely had different perspectives, and we definitely had different ideas of how the character of Hannah should have handled it, or the way because she was asking for help, but I think me and you kind of agreed that she just wasn't you know saying enough
Yeah,
for the
and not not discounting like her feelings either, because
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, like what she's going through is very serious,
Mhm.
and a lot of and it's just I just feel so bad for I feel for that counselor, because I've been in a lot of those situations as being a youth teacher at church and stuff like that. There's sometimes where like I want to help. Like I seriously, I love those kids to death. Like I want to help them, and I want to help them, like grow and be better, and and but there's sometimes they're going through stuff, and like it sucks because I can't do anything for them other than uh, there's a lot of like either they're just not giving me enough info, or I just don't. Sometimes, like even as counselors, like what, I don't have the tools to help you, like but let's
Right.
it's one of those things, like maybe he didn't have the tools to help out Hannah, but at least if she had possibly given him just enough more, a little bit more information,
Mhm.
it's one of those things, like what, I don't have the tools to help you with this,
Right.
but let's go find someone together that does.
Right.
It's
Yeah, and he could have just been
he-
there like for support, for emotional and
exactly.
moral support, as she goes and finds the proper help or whatever.
Right, because there, in a lot of those cases, because we, when I was my time in San Diego, there was some people who were, dealing kind of like not necessarily like suicidal per se, but definitely needed some help that as the church, we just couldn't provide them.
Mhm.
We didn't have the right tools. But it's one of those things, like, well, let's together, let's pray about it, let's find someone that does have the tools to help out, and
Mhm.
you kind of like check up on them, hey, how's it, is this person working
Yeah.
out, like you shoot, let's go find someone else, and and so it's like it's one of those things, and I feel bad for him because I don't think she gave him quite the information he needed,
Mhm.
but I don't think it wasn't that he didn't care. It's one of those things where it's like he was just caught between a rock and a hard place, to be
Right.
honest.
And I mean, I would, and I still stand by my assessment that, she was showing him smoke, but not the fire.
Yeah, and it's like and I also understand like James's viewpoint on that too, where it's like it's like, okay, yeah, you're seeing the smoke, like, well, do some investigating, like
I know, yeah, like
you know
if the
dig a
smoke
little
is coming
deeper.
from around like the corner, then maybe you should go walk beyond that corner to see what's going on.
Yeah. It's one of those cases. It's and this is like one of those, like, and why I like this scene, because it's very real to life. Is that no one necessarily did anything wrong, but no one did anything right either. You're kind of like
Yeah.
caught in a huge gray area where it's just a kind of an effed up situation, and no one's doing anything right, or right or wrong. It's just you get caught up in this situation. It's hard to deal with. And I think that was a perfectly captured moment. I think that was like so true to real life. And that was like one of the great things about the show, is that there was a lot of those moments where it was like, damn, that's pretty realistic. I think that's exactly what would happen, how people would deal with it. And it's just like, it was just some of those like over the top, like, do we really need this situation in here? Which is like why I hated the show at points, because it didn't add to the story. It didn't make any sense.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I'm with you on that.
Yeah, it's like why is this character here? Like he's not even part of the tapes. Like I don't care about like Montgomery. Get him the F out of it's like get him out of there. Like he's not an important character.
Yeah.
It'd make more sense if like whatchamacallit, Alex, if it was him and like Bryce that like ended up getting into a fight. That would have made the heck of a lot more sense.
Uh-huh.
If Bryce was the one that was driving like a jerk, and just because like, hey, I can get away with anything, and
yeah. Although, thinking back on it, it now kind of makes sense. Them kind of keeping their distance away from the guidance counselor or whatever. Since they all read the or listened to the tapes, and so. I didn't know why they kind of they're kind of keeping their distance from him.
That's true. You're right. I didn't think about that aspect of it too. Like because they all heard the tapes and like why like he was the last reason. Like he doesn't care. He's why should I tell him anything? It wasn't because that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I was just thinking about it. I was like because he was the last one. So. It kind of makes sense that these kids, every time like he would call, he would talk with them or something. There's always this kind of weird like energy or like kind of like I just want to keep arm's length from you.
Yeah, and that makes a lot of sense. But and the other. That's where Clay comes in, because he's like he kind of confronted like what are you guys doing, like why are you guys like do you guys even like give a crap?
Mm-hmm.
And he was kind of like the one that was very that like went against the grain, because everyone else just seemed like yeah whatever, like I not that they didn't completely like obviously like it affected them in a lot of ways, but the way that they kind of acted almost seemed like they tried to make it like it's not a big deal. Despite them dealing with their own internal struggles,
right?
But yeah, no, that's also the great thing about like a show sometimes, where it does have its flaws, but there's things like the more you dig a little bit deeper in some of the actual like good parts of it, it's like it keeps getting good, and like you ask more questions and you think about it, it's like hey, that's pretty thought provoking, or like there's more to it.
Right.
So and that's a sign of a good show, that it's I think it accomplished its mission. So I hope that if they do come out with the second season with the voyeur guy, that they'll kind of keep that. Hopefully it doesn't just become like one of those like, oh, we got to keep our kids away from violent stuff, and it's another Columbine, but like they actually like kind of deal with it in a real manner. That
and I hope they don't try to scapegoat it with like video games or Marilyn Manson or whatever.
Yeah, because in a lot of and that's. Every time there's always one of those school shootings. Oh, it's the video games. It's this. It's like no, the video games didn't do anything about it, because there's, honestly, like if anything, I think games like help get out that aggression a lot of times.
Because it's very cathartic.
Unless like you're mentally,
you have like a bad day or you're frustrated. And you go and you storm the beaches of Normandy and you shoot Nazis in the head, then you're getting that out of your system. And,
because one of my fun like Grand Theft Auto to me is like that's one of those like great like stress release games where like no one goes like unless you're mentally kind of like don't have the mental capacity to separate fiction from reality, which is a sign of a mental disorder. That like I can't just go up in the street to go up and like punch somebody or whatever, but honestly in this virtual world it's fun. Like it's like I can't do it in real life, but I can get out that aggression here, and I think a lot of ways it helps curb a lot of kind of the people's violent tendencies in a lot of ways. Because there's not. It's one of those things, especially in Western culture. There's no real like rite of passage thing that we go through. From being kids to adults. Like, and so there's a lot of that. Like, that's why teens are so angsty all the time. Like your body's changing. Like you have all these hormones. You're wanting to like
there's no outlet
that moves.
Especially for boys. There's no outlet. There's no release valve for all that like kind of aggression. Because before you'd go out and like you'd stalk a gazelle all day and then you kill it and you bring it home, so your family can eat, and so like that energy,
exactly.
All that kind of excess testosterone is let out through that action of hunting, hunting and stalking and killing and and
yeah, absolutely. And the thing with concerning that, like with that character in 13 Reasons Why, he clearly has some like real issues. When you start like sneaking in bushes and like spying on people and taking like horrible like photos and stuff of like people like in their private lives like without them knowing, so there's something obviously like that's wrong with him to begin with. And I hope they kind of deal with it, like, because in the Columbine case, like those kids weren't like influenced by like Marilyn Manson and violent video games or whatever. Like they already had like some serious issues to begin with,
right?
And they clearly like they were terrorists. Like they wanted to inflict as much damage upon the world as possible.
Right. That they perceived that the world was doing to them, and so. Yeah, it wasn't
exactly.
It wasn't big. Yeah, Marilyn Manson wasn't sending kids subliminal messages saying, "Oh, shoot up your school or whatever."
Yeah, if that was really the case, and a lot of these things, like if games and music and or TV shows were like the factor in at least as far as like in teenagers, like of us doing that, well then. Why isn't it like more 100%? Like, so there has to be like some sort of like, there's some sort of problem with that like kind of idea. I'm not saying it's like 100% of the time where like some people aren't influenced by it, but in that point like you can't separate out fiction from reality, then there's a bigger issue at hand. It's not the game or the music's fault. It's something else going on. And when it comes to like oh well, the little kids, they're mimicking it. It's like, well then why is your little kid why is he listening to Marilyn Manson? Why
exactly. First of all, why is your kid listening to that kind of music, or playing that mature rated video game?
Exactly.
Where are you to stop your kid from
the other thing is
consuming that media? That's
exactly.
That's your job as a parent to keep make sure that your kids are well adjusted and they know the difference between real blood versus pixels in a video game.
Exactly. And but no one wants to have that like actual discussion like and have that, hey, like this is what's if you're gonna do this, like this is what happens in this game. This is not real.
Right.
But if you can't handle that, if you're gonna run around and be like a punk or something, then you don't get to play this.
It's like, yeah, it's like, do you know that you're not a real monkey? He's like, yes. Okay, play on. It's like, are you? Do you think you're this monkey? He's like, yes. It's like, no more game, no more video games for you.
Yeah, and it's one of those great things, because video games are a lot of fun. Like, yeah, it's fun, going through these like grand adventures. It's essentially in a lot of especially older RPGs. To me, it was like reading a book. Like you're on this like epic quest, and like it's a way to the reality that you can escape to a little bit.
Yeah.
And
it's like it was very like Zelda, like back in the day, Zelda. It was very much a choose your own adventure novel.
Exactly, and that was why it's still so popular today, because it's like it's fun to just go out and explore and figure things out, which is what the creator wanted. That's what that was his childhood wrapped up in that game, essentially.
Yeah.
And in a lot of cases, a lot of these games, good or bad, it's a way. It's like an epic adventure to go on, and just like with characters, whether you like them or hate them, and that's what makes things fun. We don't live in the Mushroom Kingdom, and, like, eat mushrooms to gain powers, but it's fun to be in that world for a little bit. Same thing with like the more of the violent games, like your State of Decay and Grand Theft Auto, or
I was just about to say
whatever.
Yeah. Because like what other space do you have where you can like beat up prostitutes, and there's like and there's no ramifications, there's no consequences, because that's not real, but then but in your mind you're fulfilling that need, that to or I
it's
mean,
one of those
need, but instinct to go out and like hunt and be a warrior.
Yeah, exactly. We don't live we live in civilization, not in like the jungle, and there's no, like I said, there's no real like rite of passage anymore, especially for I don't know about like women. I guess I don't know if they really have it, but like definitely for guys, I don't see that like kind of that clear distinction from going from childhood to adulthood. And
there's like that.
There's a way to act out.
There's that tribe in the Amazon where they have to wear gloves with freaking fire ants, and like you have to wear them for like better part of a day, and then if you can't handle it, or you don't last the whole day, then you're not considered a man.
Yeah. Which is pretty extreme.
It's like, oh, you turned 18, let's go have a beer. And it's like, or I mean, not. Well, that's not. We have to.
Well, that's how it used to be back in like the 70s.
Yeah, in the 70s, yeah, it used to be 18. But yeah, now it's like, oh, you're 21 now, let's go have a beer. It's like.
Exactly.
Like, what kind of rite of passage is that? It's like, oh, yay, I can now drink.
Well, I mean, 18, I guess you go to the strip club, but I didn't do that when I was 18.
Yeah, but who wants? Yeah. But
I joined the military when I was 18, so I guess maybe that.
Yeah. But yeah, that's like another, like, I guess since you actually did it, like, do you have an opinion on like the age at which you can sign up for the military? Because like there's like that argument like, oh, these kids they're able to go and enlist in the army, or in the military, but they can't have a drink.
Honestly, like, to me, a lot of these like age limit rules on some things are pretty ridiculous. Like 18 is a good, like, I think a good point. Like, obviously, like in some cases where especially with like the like this sex stuff or whatever, like that's because I don't like kids being sexualized and stuff like that. So I understand like why 18 is kind of like a good. I think that's a good cutoff point, because you're not necessarily an adult, but you're not a kid anymore either at the same point. Well, I guess like now tobacco, is it like you have to be 21 too? I heard that changed. But
what?
Yeah, I heard that they changed some of the, unless like you're in the military now, you have to be 21 to buy tobacco.
Oh, well, yeah. I heard in San Francisco they raised the age to buy to buy a pack of cigarettes to 21.
Yeah, I saw something down here too. I don't know if it's just a California thing, or if it's going to be more nationwide. But regardless, I think the idea that age limit idea for like drinking and stuff is really, it's kind of dumb, to be honest. So especially if like, okay, if that's the case, then I shouldn't be able to go and put myself in danger by joining the military.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Because you're saying you're old enough to kill or to be killed, but you're not, you don't have the necessary, you don't necessarily have the mental capacity to buy, to buy
And I
tobacco
think,
or alcohol.
yeah, and I think that there was something, and I'm probably wrong about this, but there was a similar argument back in the Vietnam War where I think they ended up lowering the voting age to 18, because these guys were eligible to go to be drafted, but then they couldn't vote. So it's like, you're kind of like, what? How fair is that? Like, you can't vote, but like you don't have a choice in going to in going off to war.
Right. Yeah.
But I might be. I think there was some issue like that, but I had to look that up. I don't quote me on that. But yeah, I think it's a lot of these like age restrictions, or a lot of like the censorship stuff is really like not. It's not good because it's one of those things where you have to. You're putting your liberties in someone else's hand. If you're not smart enough to choose what's good for you or not good for you, then it's kind of like, then yeah, obviously, if you can't make that decision for yourself, then you shouldn't do it. But if you can honestly like weigh the pros and cons, and it's like, you know what, yeah, this probably is not the best for me, but I still I enjoy it every once in a while, and like it's not something you become addicted to. You should be able to do it. I kind of understand. Like I said, I understand like that like 18-year cutoff. Like, yeah, I don't think kids that under 18 should drink or whatever, or be like smoking or anything like that. I think that's not a good thing. Especially because a lot up until at least for males, I think up until like 22 or 3, you're still developing.
Right.
And a lot of those.
I think.
And that's where things like where
they should raise the age for people to vote to 25.
Yeah, I would actually agree with that. But then you'd always have to like push back, a lot of other stuff to deal with that too, because until like the point where you stop growing and developing, then a lot of
like 25.
Yeah, and that's where like where drink, you can sit, you can like do a little bit more drinking, a little bit more responsibly, like where it's not you're not damaging your growing liver, or if you're heavily drinking, like you have like 1 or 2 drinks like every once in a while, it's not gonna do anything. The liver is actually a very resilient organ. But the like same thing with smoking, your lungs are developing a lot around that time, like still, and smoking definitely is like it's gonna kind of stunt that growth and development. And so that's kind of the debate with marijuana is still too, is like, well, okay, yeah, it might not be dangerous or whatever for everyone, but I wonder if its effects on like the mind as someone who's still developing their mind. If for an adult, like once or twice every once in a while, probably not going to do anything to you. But like but a developing mind, I wonder how that affects and like helps the growth process of the brain.
That's a fair point. That's a fair point.
And like I said, I'm not against any of these things. Obviously, like we drink on the podcast. I drink, not a ton, but like I like beers.
Yeah, no, I mean, we're not alcoholics. We like to enjoy a drink.
I'm getting drunk every day, boy.
As long as I think as long as you're not drinking by yourself in the dark, then
yeah, that's when you have a problem.
Yeah.
The other end, like I said, I'm not against like people like who smoke or like do marijuana. It's personally something I never got into. I think because I grew up with smokers most of my life, and I hated it. So I didn't want to. I never got involved with it. And actually, I didn't even drink. I didn't even start like drinking until like I think it was like 23 or 24. So most people are like, Yeah, man, like 21st birthday, I was completely wasted. It's like, I think the only birthday that like I pretty much like didn't remember parts of it was like my last birthday.
Oh wow, yeah.
Which you
Oh
guys weren't
man.
there for, because you guys were on that retreat. So
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Man,
it was
I
fun.
don't think I've ever been blackout drunk. I mean, I've been wasted for sure,
That's
but
how
I
we
don't
first
think,
met.
huh?
That's how we first met. You were hugging my toilet.
No, but I still even though
You remember?
even though I was like wasted, I wasn't blackout.
You weren't. Yeah, you weren't like you didn't like forget stuff.
I was still cognizant of everything that was going around me.
I think I've only blacked out a couple of times. That was like towards like my 30th birthday. That's where I didn't. I remember everything up until like just before we left, and like I don't remember leaving.
Yeah, see,
And
yeah, I
then,
don't, yeah, because I've known
but it's never been.
people.
Yeah, I've never like woken up. It's like, who the hell is this in my bed, or where am I? Like, it's never like been that. It's just
Yeah.
more like, how did I get back home? And it's like,
Yeah,
and then
no,
you kind of
exactly.
like,
I mean, I've never had that experience myself, but I've witnessed a lot of people who like, who you think, even though they're wasted, you think that they're still like coherent and cogent, but like the next
yeah,
morning, it's like, how the hell did I get home? And it's like, you don't remember? It's like, no. I was like, God damn.
yeah. So there's always like those moments and stuff, but yeah, like but I don't think it's good for like necessarily like younger kids like get involved with that, but like cause adults like every once in a while it's I drinking, like I like it. It's it's not because necessarily like getting drunk, but like this is also like a kind of I think a golden age of like for beers. There's a lot of people doing like the
Oh, yeah,
craft
like all
stuff.
the microbrews and
Yeah,
the smaller, like, yeah, it's like, because
and
for a
even
time all there
honestly,
was like Budweiser, Miller, Coors.
yeah, and even like some of the like kind of the cheaper, like more I guess corporate beers, like even those are pretty good. Like I mean we have like Rolling Rock all the time on the podcast. As say what you will about it, but of the cheaper beers, like between like Budweiser,
Yeah,
Miller,
it's not
Coors, like
bad.
it's definitely it's the best one of those in my opinion. But yeah, you have all like those cool like craft beers. So even some like the like a little bit more like expensive ones. Like I love Allagash. I think that's like one of the
Oh
greatest
yeah,
beers.
yeah.
Allagash White to me is one of the greatest beers out on the market right now.
Yeah.
Not Your Father's Root Beer is freaking awesome. Of those hard beer like well, it's not even like actually. It's not even like a hard soda. It's just it's like a chocolate beer that has the flavor of root beer. It's kind of it's unique in that sense.
Right. Okay. So.
That's actually the only dark beer that I drink too. I that's the one thing I don't like.
Oh, you don't like
don't
you don't like the Guinness or.
No, I'm not a well, because I don't like coffee either. So that's why it's like the worst of both worlds for me.
Oh, you don't like coffee either?
No, I've never liked coffee. I've tried it like 6 or 7 different times like throughout my life, and I've hated it. I don't like it. But but I don't like those like the stouts and like a lot of those like heavier beers. Like I'm not a big like Newcastle. I don't drink like Newcastle.
Well, I think Newcastle is one of the lighter dark beers.
Yeah, that is true. But I don't know. I just never got caught on with the flavor too, and
I love Newcastle.
Those European beers though, like they drink that shit warm, which I just can't.
God, what the hell's wrong with them?
It's like I don't know. It just feels like unsatisfying to me.
Yeah, I know. It's like.
Well, and that's the thing with those with the pale ales. I've started to enjoy those a little bit more, but you have to drink those cold. Otherwise, because if you let it get warm, that bitterness that's in there that's all you end up tasting. You lose when it like loses its cold. When it stops being cold, it loses its flavor. So that's. Right. Like those beers, you have to be a little bit because you have to be careful with because sometimes they have a little bit heavier alcohol content. and then you're trying to drink it fast to get like the good flavor out of it, and then it's like 2 or 3 in, it's like you drank them so fast and like, oh, all right, I should slow down for a second.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, but they're really good, and a lot of those have like the aroma it's such a good aroma to a lot of them too.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not that fond of pale ales, but every once in a while,
I've been like the two that are of like more of like the like major like ones that are on the market. Like I like the Sierra Nevada Pale Ale. I think that's the best out of them. And then
I've had a couple of those. Yeah.
Yeah, and then Lagunitas is a pretty decent one too.
Yeah. That's also a nice one that I enjoy from time to time.
Yeah. Anyways, actually, I'm getting pretty close to having to head out to church, so we should probably put it close to the screen.
That's fine. Yeah, we definitely, we're like almost an hour and a half.
And it didn't have that weird 30-minute cutout.
Like the camera didn't clunk out after 30 minutes, so yeah, I think in terms of duration, if we either if we stream or if we decide to record, we'll be fine.
That's
Actually, we can maybe even start recording through the OBS, just for like when we do regular podcasts.
Yeah, like I said, the potential is endless right now. I think for what we can do, it's just a matter of like figuring it out and then kind of like planning out exactly what we want to do. And if we do like something like more like this, like if one of us just like can't make it for some reason for like a while, we can always like but like we still like want them on. We can always do like something like this, and we can talk to them for a bit, or they are we can check up on them, like maybe do like a live stream with like one of our main guys and kind of check up on them, see how they're doing, and see what's on their mind, and upload it and stuff.
And it's like because it doesn't necessarily have to be a live stream, but we could still record, and we could definitely upload that.
Yeah, we can do that too. But I'm really excited.
Was it?
After a very tough day like this, working out is very good news. So that makes me feel a lot better. So I'm excited for the future of the podcast and like what we can do. And
right. Yeah, and I think when we eventually do, I guess unless I find something else, another workaround, I guess the interviewee doesn't necessarily have to see us. If I'm gonna get rid of that little window, I don't know. Internet, if you guys know how I can get rid of that little video screen of myself out of there without having to turn off the feed, then please let me know. I'd really appreciate it.
Yeah. Anything you guys who are watching or are gonna watch in the future, if there's anything that that can help us out, write in the comments, or let us know if there's anything that in particular you guys want to see us talk about or do. Let us know if like something you see in the episode that you'd love us to do more about. Any feedback is great. And you always remember to like and subscribe to our like our videos, subscribe to the podcast if you're not subscribed. And what's the we've been posting on YouTube, but what's the other site that you've been posting on, Andy, so people can check us out?
We're also on vid.me vid.me/CircleofJerks podcast, all one thing. So find us there, follow us. Maybe since you now know that it's me doing all the editing and post production stuff. Maybe send me a tip.
Yeah. And
by tip, I mean money.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that'd be great too.
Because that VidMe site, they had that thing where they had like a tip function where you could send like the content creator like a couple of bucks or like even more.
Well, that's what because the like gaming live streams, there's a lot of those guys that have that enabled, so we might do that, so we can keep up like doing like, and most of any donations or tips that you guys give us, it's not going in our own pockets, it's going into the podcast because to make things like more better for you guys, the fans that are watching.
Quality, get more, maybe more equipment, because I mean right now we're working with only one camera, so I mean I would definitely like to incorporate different angles, so it's not just one like static shot of the group, but get maybe like 2 more cameras, and so we could have like some sort of dynamic viewing experience.
It's all that stuff goes to better the podcast, to better the equipment, and to give you guys better content. And for those of you that are watching and supporting us, just through your support and prayers, and just like watching us, like we're very thankful.
Your viewership is greatly appreciated, and if you like what we're doing, then spread the word. Let your friends know about us. Let them become jerk faces too.
We're just so thankful that you guys are watching our videos and hopefully enjoying them. And we got some great stuff coming up within the next week or so. Episodes 3 and 4 are going to be coming out very soon. We're working on 5 and 6, and I also have a special presentation for another that I recorded with another podcast that we'll be uploading in pretty soon as well. So it's a lot of good stuff coming up. The next few episodes are a little heavier, but hopefully inspirational. And but the next episodes that we're recording are going to be a little bit more fun and lighthearted, kind of our normal Circle of Jerks style, just us having a good time together and sharing our good times with everyone out in the audience.
Doing it for the lulz.
Exactly. But anyways, thank you for your hard work, Andy. Thank you,
you're welcome.
Viewers. And we'll have a safe trip, my friend. Andy's going out of town for a little while, but he stuff is coming out this week, so no worries there, guys.
So keep your panties on. More content coming soon.
Hitting up on the ladies out where he's going. So
what's a good pickup line for Texas?
You going to Texas?
Yeah. Well, I'm going to West Texas.
Oh, I don't know, man. I've never been to Texas. I kind of want to go though.
Yeah, I'll be in West Texas. So I'm not. Yeah, I won't be in any like the big cities, but
just throw on some, come up with a southern, like a Texas accent, and just be Andy.
That's true. Yeah. Well, I could do a Tommy Lee Jones. He's from West Texas.
There you go.
Yeah. So it's just maybe a little less surly, but
a little less surly, but with that accent.
A little less surly, but I'll try to channel Tommy Lee Jones.
That works.
Yeah.
Anyway, guys, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Yes, thanks for watching this test. I hope it was entertaining. More to come.
Awesome. Bye, Andy.
Later. Stop stream.